Japan has one of the most exciting lineup of cars and trucks, but unfortunately, a lot of them do not come to North America. In particular, Toyota has a wide range of cars and trucks that are unique to their brand in Japan, unique to their region, but we never get to see them. So let's explore a bit here and take a look to see what kind of cars and trucks you can actually get in Japan that are unique to them, that are foreign to us, but you never know because some of those cars may eventually show up here in North America. Because I was born and raised in Japan, even though I was educated in North America, because I went to a university both here in British Columbia, Canada, as well as I went to a postgraduate study in Boston. So I'm fortunate enough that I'm bilingual, bicultural. In fact, I'm one of the very few YouTubers who are truly bilingual in both Japanese and English. So I have a real advantage of bringing to you very interesting news and information from Japan because I can read all of their Japanese websites. So let me show you some really fascinating things by first taking you through the Toyota Gazoo Racing website, which is what we call the GR website. And they do have two websites, one for English speaking people and one in Japanese. But even though they look identical, actually only the Japanese website has a lot of details. So I have in front of me a Japanese Gazoo Racing website, and I'm going to just show you some really fascinating cars that are only sold in Japan, and you might be surprised the type of GR cars you can buy. Now, of course, because it's a Gazoo Racing is very much focused on racing, right off the bat in the home page, it talks about rally, Monte Carlo rally, and so forth. But as you scroll down, it talks about other interesting cars. Most of you already know about the GR Yaris, but what you don't know is a whole bunch of other cars that are sold here. So I'm scrolling up and down here. So again, it starts off with a racing theme, talks about the GR Yaris, which we're not going to get the GR Yaris. I think you already know that. But most of us know about the GR Yaris. Of course, the Supra is one of the first GR product, and so we know a lot about that, even though the Japanese version is slightly different from ours in terms of spec. But here we get to get some interesting cars. For example, in Japan, there is a CHR GR Sport. Now, this isn't a pure GR car in a sense that in terms of powertrain and engine and so forth, it's not all that different from a normal CHR, but it's more of a cosmetic GR. But still, it's a cool car. But keep on scrolling down, you get some really fascinating cars like the Copo GR Sport. Copo is what used to be part of a Daihatsu group. Daihatsu is a specialist in making small, tiny cars that Toyota acquired many years ago. And so they even have a GR Sport version of the Copo, which is a tiny little K car. K car is a car with a small engine in a cabriolet or convertible format. What a cool, nifty car. Obviously, we're not going to get this here in North America. And then I can click here to go into the rest of GR lineup. So let me click on here. Again, there is an English version of this website, but it doesn't provide anywhere close to what the Japanese website does. For example, when you get to this GR lineup page in the English version, they do list all of the cars, but you can't click on them and get more information. So obviously the Japanese version is the only way to get those details, but you'll have to be able to speak and read Japanese to get some details and to understand them. So let me walk you through. So first, right here, right off the bat, the two most prominent GR cars are listed, which is the GR Yaris and the GR Supra. Lots of information about the Supra, obviously, because it's sold here in North America. And many of us know a lot about GR Yaris too, because there's so much hype about this amazing rally-influenced compact sports car. We are not getting the GR Yaris. We are, though, getting a GR Corolla, which is not yet listed in here because it's yet to be announced. It's yet to be shown to the world. So these two aren't all that surprising, but then we get into a whole whack of other GR cars that are quite fascinating. I already mentioned to you about the Copo GR Sport. So if I just click on here, so you see some English words obviously, but it's clearly targeted for Japanese viewers. And it's a bit of like an online brochure here. Again, Copo GR Sport is what used to be Daihatsu Copo. I've been to their factory. I've seen this car being built. It's really, really cool place to visit. But what a neat car here. There's lots of photographs here. So for example, if I click this place, it's got a bit of a video here, and it shows you an actual introduction to a Copo. And this is a person by name of Nanami Tsukamoto-san, okay, to be very specific, who is a race car driver, and she is introducing this Copo GR Sport. There's a whole video here. It does give you a link to the YouTube. It's in Japanese, but she talks about this car and introduces the GR Sport Copo to the viewers. Now let's go back because we don't need to see all of the details here. And so that was GR Sport. Now there's also the CHR GR Sport. I'm gonna click on more here as well. And here we go. We don't get this here, obviously. We don't even get an all-wheel drive version of the CHR, which Japan does have. So some explanation here of what it is. It's more of a cosmetic thing. It's not true performance GR Sport, but it's a really, really nifty looking car. Great, lots of spoiler front and side and back, different wheels, different bumper configuration, and inside also has a GR steering wheel and different seat, and underneath it talks about some of the modification they've done to suspension and so forth. So again, lots of details here and some photographs. Let me show you some more photographs here. Now this takes you to an Instagram account, which is Toyota Gazoo Racing. It's this one is in English. You can actually see. So it kind of gave me to a site that I wasn't expecting. I was hoping to see more of the CHR GR Sport, but let me see. Yeah, it doesn't take me to more photos. It just takes me to the Instagram account. But anyway, there's a little bit more detail here as well. So let's go back again because there's a lot more to show you. Now there's also a Prius plug-in hybrid GR Sport. Isn't that interesting? PHV GR Sport. So that's kind of a fascinating because we don't get obviously a sport version of the Prius plug-in hybrid. That's kind of unthinkable in North America because it's very much marketed as a fuel efficient car as opposed to a sporty car. But it's got the same kind of theme here: sporty, larger wheels, trim here and there, more aggressive front grille with a bumper configuration change, and the interior as well has a GR steering wheel, and you can tell the seat is quite different as well. It's got a more of a bucket, truly bucket supportive seat, and underneath they've made modification to suspension and other parts of the car to bring it to in line with what you would expect from a GR. So that's the Prius PHV or plug-in hybrid. And then there's also this Aqua GR Sport. Aqua is, we used to have this, which is a tiny Prius configuration. We don't have this car anymore. I'm not even sure why they bother with this Aqua version in the GR Sport format. Again, cool looking wheels, amazing looking front end with aggressive bumper configuration and side skirt and front spoilers and rear chin spoiler as well. Again, a kind of consistent theme here with a more aggressive bucket seat with a big support, side support, and a neat, cool looking GR steering wheel, and it highlights what's underneath again. So these are kind of same theme over and over again. So that's Aqua GR Sport. They do list the price here as well. And then there's also the regular Prius in GR Sport version. So again, same idea here. I won't go through all the details, but they give you a little bit more details of the Prius. Not quite sure why anyone would buy a Prius GR Sport, but now it gets in some fun stuff here. There is a Toyota Noah GR Sport and Toyota Voxy GR Sport. Noah and Voxy are the two minivans in Japan. These are clearly not sold in North America and will never be sold here because they're a tiny, compact, very small minivans. very popular in Japan, called Noah. But they have the sport version of this in Japan. Can you imagine that? Called the Noah GR Sport. So not too much information on this particular one, but again, aggressive front end, chin spoiler here, and aggressive pinstriping with a black and red running all the way through the sides. And here's another sort of a side design here is changed as well. And the inside, it's got a racing inspired instrument gauge with a GR Sport steering, and even the pedals you can tell is the racing pedal, and same thing with the seat just like before. So more details if I keep on clicking, but I'm not going to do that right now, kind of just to keep you moving along. And then there is the Voxy GR Sport, which is another type of kind of like a minivan, even boxier than the Noah, and they call that minivan. And here they talk about how even a minivan can give you some amazing sporty feel and give you a sense of fun, sense of driving character. Same idea. These are really cool looking minivan, right? Can you imagine kind of driving this in a sort of California coast or something? Lots of logo here, a good, interesting fog lamp, big wheels, even lower suspension, and same thing, the stripe coming along. For some reason, they're showing every single one of these in the white color, but inside similar here with silver sports inspired gauge with GR steering wheel and pedals. So that is a Voxy GR Sport. And finally, a couple more here. We have the Toyota 86 in the GR format. Of course, most of you guys probably know this, but there is a brand new 86 coming this summer. It should be announced very soon, the next month or so, because Subaru already launched the new BRZ, and that model is almost identical to the 86. We're not quite sure how much they're going to change in terms of the Toyota version for the 86, but it'll be quite fascinating. So we're looking forward to seeing the GR version of the 86, which should be arriving anytime soon. And then there's a couple more here. So that was Toyota 86. Then there's a little Vitz GRMN and Mark X GRMN. Slightly different variation on the GR theme. And this is here you go. This is tiny, again, one of the most compact car you can find in Toyota, but it's the GRMM version. And look at the seats, right? Pretty fancy stuff for the seats. And it goes into a little bit more detail here. Kind of real cool looking car. Again, heavily modified front spoiler and side skirts and wheels and interior. So that's the Vitz, which is a tiny car. And then you can even get the Mark X GRMM. Mark X is like an Avalon. It's not sold here in North America. It's quite a popular sporty sedan in Japan. It's one of the kind of real cool looking car. It's essentially a very similar car to what we find here in the form of a sort of like a Camry based car. But you can even get a manual transmission. Again, cool looking exterior. This one looks even cooler than other ones I've seen. And wow, this is a really amazing car. So that is the GRMN Mark X, sometimes called Mark 10, depends on how you want to call it. And then what they don't show you here is the Toyota Century GRMN, which is kind of limited edition. It's not really for sale yet. They produced that specifically for Mr. Akio Toyoda, for the president, and that car is not for sale, but perhaps it will show up. But Toyota Century, of course, is a $200,000 car. Very few people buy it, except for corporate executive. So chance of us seeing that in North America is zero. We're not going to see that car here because we have a Lexus. Now, if I keep on scrolling down here, though, there's a lot more. There's a section called the GR Heritage Parts, which is a really cool place here because Toyota has announced they're going to reproduce some of the components and parts for the legendary classic cars, whether it's the Supra or even the Toyota 2000 GT, and a few different versions and variations of the Supra, of course. You can get originally manufactured heritage parts directly from Toyota if you want to basically renovate or complete overhaul one of the older classic cars from Toyota. So there's lots of list here. I'm not going to go through this, but they talk about they have heritage parts for Toyota 2000 GT. 1967 to 1970, A70 Supra 86 to 93, one of my favorite Supras of all time, and then of course the most amazing Supra, which is A80 1993 to 2002. This is the ridiculously expensive and sought after Supra, and Toyota has a complete list of components. So they list all of the different type of things you can buy. These are probably most commonly worn out parts, everything from door handle to propeller shaft to front emblem, and it just keeps on going. A huge list of things you can buy and give you instruction on how to get them. So that's the heritage part, and there's more. There's still more stuff to go through here. Under motorsports, you can learn more about their actual Supra GT and Supra Formula, even a Yaris Cup racing, a lot of stuff in here. And then under newsroom, there's more news information. And under what they call enjoy, they list other things. For example, a link to Motorsports Japan, a link to Tokyo Auto Salon, which is like our SEMA auto show here in US, basically a modified version of the SEMA that shows all of the type of sports car that has been modified. They didn't have a real session this year; it became virtual. And a similar version of that in Osaka is called Osaka Auto Messe. That's another modified car auto show. And then MegaWeb is the special Toyota showroom in just outside Tokyo called Odaiba. I would love to take you there one of these days that talks about and showcases all kinds of Toyota cars. And then Toyota museum information and then official goods and so forth. So let's click on official goods to see what they have. And here we are, all kinds of GR Sports, Toyota Gazoo Racing, GR official goods. None of these are available in North America, and these include some special parts for the Supra and so forth. But look at these real cool looking jackets and polo shirts and hats. I'm gonna get my friends to buy some of these for me in Japan because they won't ship it to North American address. But I've got lots of friends and my brothers in Japan still. Normally I go to Japan 3-4 times a year, but obviously I can't do that. So until such time I can go to Japan, I'm going to go and get some of these parts. So that's pretty well it. There's a lot more stuff in here. I won't go through everything now because I've taken enough of your time. Please let me know if this is of interest because I can do the same thing with the Toyota homepage, which also lists all kinds of interesting cars that are not sold in North America. And this is kind of really fun way. And so even though you might not speak the Japanese, if you go to this website, which is toyotagazooracing.com/JP, this will take you to the Japanese version. You can get lots of information. There is an English version of this, which would be toyotagazooracing.com/EN, I believe. And that one just doesn't have anywhere the depth of this Japanese website. But either way, it's a fascinating way to take a peek into what they offer in Japan in their GR division because it's a huge deal. Akio Toyoda, as a president and CEO, kept saying how important it is for Toyota to become a sports branded company. So more to come from them. And some of these will hopefully eventually show up in North America. As I mentioned, Yaris is not coming. We will get the GR Corolla. We already have the Supra. And perhaps we will get something like a CHR GR Sport. I haven't heard anything like that yet though. And of course we will get the 86 and that should be in a GR format as well. So those are cars we will still get and maybe some of these other ones eventually will show up. Who knows? I hope you had fun. A quick tour of the GR Toyota Gazoo Racing website. I have a close friend at Toyota who is involved in Toyota Gazoo Racing, so I'm going to make him make a quick call to him and find out what else is new. But for now, I think that's enough. I hope you had fun, and I will continue to talk about Toyota and other interesting cars and brands. So please stay connected and keep on watching. Thank you so much. I'm signing off. Peace out. Thank you.